Good morning, I am John. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. Time for my daily stand-up and vlog documenting my progress on making content creation a full-time sustainable gig. And today I dressed up in my, what is kind of my convention uniform for GenXGrownUp, if you will. I got my jersey that George got for us, got GenXGrownUp as our team across there. Got the year you're born, 69, we all have these. Anyway, this is what I wore to PodFest back on Saturday. At the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my experience at PodFest and what happened there, and some networking that paid off, and I didn't realize it until I got there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, let's start with what happened back on Friday. We'll get to Saturday at the end of this. Anyway, so Friday I was preparing to go to PodFest, of course, as I mentioned on Saturday, because I had to leave at like 5:30 in the morning to drive down there and get there on time. So I couldn't get up on Saturday and get my act together. But also I did something I've been meaning to do. I'm meant to get done by the beginning of January, but we're planning on doing some advertising on both YouTube and Facebook. And on YouTube, to advertise on YouTube, you need something to advertise. And so what I wanted to do was refresh our promo. We had this little 15-second promo that runs when you go to the page if you're not subscribed. And we've used it a few other places. It's the pinned thing on Facebook and Twitter and that kind of thing. But I wanted to update it and refresh it with more of the stuff that we've done recently, and also make it just over 30 seconds so that it's a YouTube strategy when you do ads. Anyway, I won't bore you with that. But I think it turned out pretty well. I want to share it with you here, and I'll also make sure there's a link in the description of this video where you can go and get it if you want to share it out with anybody else.
Are you a Gen Xer or just love the pop culture of the era? Then GenXGrownUp is for you. The movies, gadgets, toys, TV, games, and tech you love are all right here. We deliver new original content right to you every week with a strong focus on fun. So if you, like us, believe that you have to grow older but you don't have to grow up, you're in the right place. Watch us on YouTube, listen to our podcast, catch us on social, then learn more at GenXGrownUp.com.
I'm really happy with how that turned out. I like the pace of that promo. I'll probably use that for a while until I see another really cool thing somebody does that I can leverage and copy. But I like how that goes. It shows so much stuff that we do, and it really gives you a taste of what you have to expect if you go check out any of our content, right? Yeah, so that was pretty well what I covered, and some prep, some artwork and writing on Friday. So before I get to today, let me talk about, we're trying, we think we're trying, we set a goal for ourselves to get to 19,000 subscribers by the end of January. And we're so close. We're 60 away. We only have 2 days left, today and tomorrow. Unless there's this crazy spike where we average 30 a day over the next 2 days, we're not gonna make it. We're not even hitting 20 the last couple of days. We're getting 10, 12, something like that. So we're very close to that 19,000, and I had hoped if we hit 19 at the end of February, we could hit 20. I'm going to keep that as my goal, even though I know we're going to be playing catch up at the beginning of February, and February is a short month. But don't take my foot off the gas. That's still my target as I look to do things that will hopefully amplify and accelerate that growth. So let's talk about today then. So I definitely have the editorial that I did last week, as I mentioned, did very well, and it continues to do well. I'm starting to learn that we probably have quite a while to wait before any of these new products at CES start to come out. So if I want to keep attracting the audience that's interested in hearing about that stuff, it's a wide open field. So anything you want to talk about these, it's not like they're coming out next week or anything. It's almost a matter of I need to draw upon the interest that hit at the beginning when CES happened, and I also need to kind of draw out the interest until the actual product's released, because I don't want people to forget about them. So I do want to leverage that. I also want to get a review in this week. So I'm trying to determine what product. There's a product that's been daunting me to do a review on that people ask for over and over and over, so I really should do it. But because so many people ask for it, it's almost like this hype that's built up so much. So I might pull that out of the drawer and do it, or maybe a smaller piece. But reviews of these little toys are something that are very, very popular and do well for us. So I think two main long form pieces that I plan on doing this week are going to be another editorial and a review of some kind of some product, and whatever else comes along between then and now. So that lines up my work for today. I know what I have to do. And of course, the standard thing, posting on social, posting shorts. I did, by the way, start posting more stuff on TikTok and Instagram, which I don't know much about those platforms, but rather than sit and say, I'm ignorant, so I'm not going to do it, I'm going to ignorantly post and do it wrong. And then as I get some engagement and see what works, then I'll do more, right? So it's so far it's just been kind of like, we're waiting until we know the right way to do it. I've decided that I'm not waiting to learn the right way to do it. I'm going to start doing it. We have all this material. Let's start putting it out there, getting it to work for us. Because some of it's very timely, and if you wait, it's no good. It's a promo for this podcast that we just did that we'd like some views on, so let's get that out there. So I started doing that too. Okay, let's talk about PodFest. So this is the first time I had ever attended a podcasting convention. Now, in my old work life, I certainly attended tons of industry trade shows and conventions and was a presenter and attendee. So I know all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know what to expect here because podcasting is a hobby that has become a job for a lot of people. And it seems that PodFest really is the place for people who either are or are trying for podcasting to be an income, a career of some sort or other. Which is what I needed, quite honestly, right? And I know Brad B, aka Tree Riot, had mentioned in comments the other day that he's super interested in PodFest. Tons of pictures, tons of video. There's very little to see and hear. There's not like a lot of scenery that's incredibly interesting. There's like a vendor room where all these companies, StreamYard is there and Libsyn is there, companies associated with, or publishing companies that kind of want to help you how to turn your podcast content into, books or that kind of thing. The interesting thing isn't so much visual, it's not photos and video I can take, but, and I shared some of them over on Discord, by the way. If you're not on our Discord server, you can see in the description how to get there, but I shared some stuff there from the day. The interesting thing is the panels, the discussions, the talks. That's where the value is. And I think over the course of the day, I attended 6 or 7 different panels spanning everything from growth to monetization to tax awareness to gear and equipment, even one about YouTubing, which I met a really great guy there who runs a kind of a golf-centric YouTube channel. He's about double the size that we are, maybe a little bit more, but through sponsorships and stuff, it's become his full-time gig as well. And I chatted with him in the hall a little bit and got his contact information so I can reach out. All the things that he said that he's doing right are things that I am doing now, which means I'm on the right path if I can just spark the right kind of interest and growth. Just strategies like how you comment to people and reacting, and how you engage with your audience and how you address the camera, all stuff that I'm already doing. So that was not so much educational as it was kind of reinforcing and verifying some approaches that I have. I have to tell you about one panel that incredibly nice people, an incredible waste of my time. Because, I'm there at PodFest trying to learn strategies and growth and insight and what can I do to help grow. I think everybody is there for that. And this one panel was about this lovely couple who are hugely successful and they travel the world speaking about their podcast. And their strategy is that after their 7th episode, BET and SiriusXM and all these people reached out to them and wanted to purchase their podcast. Okay. So you're saying if I just do 7 episodes and just wait for somebody to call to give me a boatload of money? They're like these unicorns. They're incredibly talented. They're very charismatic. What they did sparked just right with a demographic, and people heard it and reacted immediately. Look, if I could do that, I don't need you to tell me that. I've already done 7 episodes. Why isn't my phone ringing? There were even audience members who said, hey, so you said you had a meeting with Google about such and such. How did you get that meeting? Oh, they called us and invited us to come. What am I going to do with that? Look, they're incredibly successful. They're going to continue to be great. Unless you just want to hear success stories, that's not what these panels are. The panels were like, the title of the panel was almost like, 5 strategies for getting, whatever, for doing something. And it had nothing to do with strategy. It was them telling their amazing story of how with just a very little bit of effort put into it, they got huge rewards. They even used the Field of Dreams quote on a full screen slide. The "if you build it, they will come" thing, which anyone who has not already struck it big, or even those who will tell you that's not how it works. If you build it, nobody cares is actually how it works in the world of content creation. So you have to build it and then bring people to it. It's not a Field of Dreams thing. For them it was. But they're preaching their experience that is not replicable and is not applicable to anyone else. And if it were, they don't need your advice for it because their phone is already ringing off the hook. It just seemed like a very odd fit for this convention. I don't want to ramble on this forever but it was just irritating. Of all the great information, that was the one thing that was kind of odd. And then finally, I want to talk just a little bit about how networking paid off. Many times here on this vlog, I have talked about, hey, please share us out with whoever is on your social. You never know who's going to see it, that kind of a thing. I had never made this connection, but I mentioned Brad B a little bit earlier. At some point, he had shared, back when I first got laid off and started this vlog, he shared this vlog out with social media. One of his friends was Troy, who invited me then to be on his podcast some months ago. I didn't make the connection. I didn't know Troy found out about me through Brad, but he did. And Troy is the gentleman who gave me a free ticket, a multi-$100 value ticket to go to this event and learn these strategies. So lest you think I'm just screaming into the wind, share, 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 there's a very real reason. You never know who's going to see something. If you just took that promo that I showed you, that video promo, and just put it up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, said, have you seen this, these guys, you should go check it out kind of thing. Maybe everybody you know knows about us. But if you look at our subscriber numbers, the odds are they don't. And you never know who is in your group. Brad probably had no idea that he was going to share this with someone who was actually in the industry who would then give me an opportunity. But that's what happened. And all it took was a single tiny social post act of kindness, and you never know what those ripples are. And Saturday, attending PodFest, getting this badge, going into those events and learning from those people was a direct benefit of one person posting on social and another person seeing it and giving a damn, never knowing that that's how the cycle worked. I didn't make the full connection of how that worked out until I then met and saw Troy in person, and we talked about how he found out about me and GenXGrownUp. And that's when I found out one of those amazing little stories where you never know what that little tiny action of sharing out, what kind of ripple effect it's going to have and what good it can do. So Brad, I'm going to thank you again, and Troy, thank you again for the opportunity to go on Saturday. So I know this has been a long vlog. I really wanted to make sure I talked about PodFest and shared with you how it was. So I have a lot of stuff to deal with, integrating those strategies, start processing, thinking about them. Everyone had a story from their point of view. I've got to kind of understand what they did and how do I apply it to mine, if applicable, and that kind of thing. So lots to think about, lots to process, lots to do today and this week. So with that, I'm going to get busy. I want to thank you for stopping by to watch the vlog today. If you did, if you watch every day, I love you. You know that. Thank you for being here. I so much appreciate you. Have a great Monday. Take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.